Hi everyone, Harry Chinniah here. Welcome to another Brightstar Sparkling Talk. Strengthen your strengths. King Solomon of old said, "Your gifts make room for you and bring you before great men." Somebody else said, "When you operate in your gift, you don't have to be at the head of the table. Wherever you're sitting, that becomes the head." And Bruce Lee said, "A successful warrior is an average man with laser-like focus." So friends, it's all about focusing on your strengths. Hence, I entitled this talk, Strengthen Your Strengths. I like the story by George Revis about the animal school. It illustrates recognizing the individual's strengths and weaknesses in education. Well, the story goes like this. In that great forest, the animals had a meeting and they wanted to provide a standardized education and offer a curriculum that included swimming, running, flying, and climbing. And all the animals are required to take all the subjects so as to avoid them falling behind. Well, the duck was excellent in swimming. However, he was forced to spend more time on running. And because spending all the time on running, his poor web feet was so sore that he only became average in swimming. Well, average was acceptable in the school, but he was unhappy with his performance. Then there was the rabbit. As you know, he was excellent in running and hopping, but he was forced to take up swimming and spend more time in swimming. And he was so tired and he had health issues. He was stressing excessively. And then, he wasn't even good in running because they stopped him from hopping. Well, he was frustrated. Then the squirrel who lives in the tree, was forced to take flying lessons and spend more time in flying. And he became frustrated and his performance just dropped in all the subjects. Then the eagle, he was the problem child because he insisted in getting his own way, flying right to the top of the tree. But they insisted, no, you have to start climbing and learn how to climb. Well, he was frustrated and he became trouble to all the teachers. Well, friends, the moral of the story, that, we have to concentrate on our strengths. We have to recognize the importance and nurture our abilities rather than just doing everything and focusing on our weaknesses. We need to strengthen our strengths. This story is a reminder to everyone to focus on your strengths. And somebody said, focus is more important than intelligence. James Clear said, focus is the art of knowing what to ignore. And may I suggest, just let us ignore our weaknesses and focus on our strengths. And Marilyn van Savant said, success is achieved by developing our strengths, not by eliminating our weaknesses. And I like this quote by Simeon Adikonen. He said, focus on your strength, not your weakness. Stop wasting time on things you cannot do or change at the moment and start working on things you can handle. And somebody else said this, you just need to play to your strengths and outsource your weaknesses. So friend, I'm sure you know how to do that SWOT analysis, that SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Now, how do you identify your strengths, you may ask? Well, firstly, you can take a strength test. There's so many strength tests online. Find one and it'll help you to identify your strengths. And then secondly, you may ask your close friends and people who are loyal to you, who have your best interests at heart. They will tell you what you're really good at. But you should also pay attention to yourself. Just check what gives you pleasure, what gives you gladness. Then you'll find your strengths there. And then you're encouraged to try out new things. When you get out of your comfort zone and try out new things, you'll be surprised. You'll discover strengths you never had. So, what are the benefits of strengths? Firstly, research shows that people who focus on their strengths are happier and they have lower levels of depression and have a better mental health. Secondly, the benefit is you have less stress and higher levels of productivity. Thirdly, you will feel healthier and have more energy. The fourth benefit of focusing on your strengths is confidence. You have more confidence. And then lastly, friends, benefit for focusing on your strengths that you grow and develop faster. And I like what Leila Akita said. She said this: focus on your strengths and what you can do. If you focus on what you have, you will always have enough to create what you want. So I'd like to end by saying, strengthen your strengths and you will experience joy. So say yes to joy. Remember to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.